Good evening, everyone. Welcome to ULTV Study Abroad 101. I'm Shifali Shrivastava, Marketing and Communication Manager at University Living. This episode is going to be very special. University Living has recently turned 6, and on this occasion, we are launching a series of scholarship. The first scholarship we are launching is a social scholarship with NTU. To share more light on this, we have Mirza Mujic with us, Senior Manager at Nottingham Trent University. Hi, Mirza.
Hello there. Thank you very much for having me.
We have Aman Bahal, Senior Vice President, Marketing and Growth Strategy at University Living. Hi, AB.
Hey, guys.
So we're going to start it directly. I'm sure our students and the viewers are very, puzzled that what is the social scholarship? So what is social scholarship and how it is different from others? AB, will start with you.
Yeah. So the reason is, there's a lot of kind of scholarships which are available in the market, right? Every university has different kind of scholarship. There is some shared value we saw with NTU where Mirza and the team have spoken to us and why don't we come up with something which doesn't concentrate on the grades? Every scholarship is either about how much marks you get or how well you've done in your extracurriculars or your sports, right? Nobody actually cares about the human element of things. Like a lot of people are really good and they're doing something for the society. This was our way to celebrate that. And these shared values with NTU and with their support, and it was an instant way for us to reach out to the students and give it back in a way that we thought was best. In fact, the inspiration from this actually stems from Saurabh, who's our founder of this company. He studied in Nottingham, so it's very close to his heart. So the first scholarship, we always wanted to do something with the amazing team at Nottingham Trent University. And we managed to do it for a shared value because all of us here believe that grades cannot be the benchmark for somebody, getting any sort of celebration or any sort of help and reward from the society, right? And even in our organization, and I'm sure at Nottingham Trent University, we all have that shared value. And that's why it comes into place. And it's very different from other scholarships in that regard. Even if you're not a topper and you're helping making a big impact on society, this one is for you.
Right, great. And I think it's a really, really great news. And now we'll not get so many questions around that. If I don't have a good grades, how will I go to a university? Mirza, I'll come to you over here. It's a great initiative that NTU has taken along with University Living. What other initiatives you guys are doing for student well-being, especially this post-pandemic era?
So to be honest with you, student well-being, student satisfaction, that kind of happiness on campus, and the all-round lifestyle that students get has always been a key focus for Nottingham Trent University. We've always put a lot of emphasis into kind of investing in the right areas. So, anything from kind of building a brand new students' union a few years ago that, provides that kind of comfortable space for students to just be able to do their work in and relax with their friends and give them the facilities to even, just kind of sit back and in between classes, to, ensuring that we've got investment in the right areas to support students with any issues they might have, such as, being homesick, for example. We've got counselors that will talk students through that. Obviously dedicated international student support teams and so on. Really the biggest way in which we've kind of looked to support our students post-pandemic and focus on their well-being is just to then go back to doing what we used to do in the way that we used to do it. So really going back to being hands-on and in classes and speaking to each other, meeting each other, spending time together, and getting away from just the virtual world, which of course we've all kind of been stuck in for the last 2 years. So it's not so much about what we're doing post-pandemic, it's just kind of ensuring that we go back to what made us a brilliant institution even before the pandemic, and focusing on those strengths, making sure that we are still putting the time and effort into being strong in those areas and doing them face to face.
Right. And very well said that everybody wants to go back to the normal, the old normal, not the new normal. So I'll come to you, Avi, back. You mentioned inspiration. So what is the main inspiration behind this very unique scholarship?
So like I said, first of all, we were finishing University Living is 6 years old now. right? And it was a great time for us to kind of give back to the community of students who've supported us or who've been through us, even with the pandemic, right? And partners like Nottingham Trent University, who've also always been very clued on all these issues related to students, right? Because at University Living, we always say it's always student and beyond. It's not just accommodation; it's accommodation and beyond, right? And that's the same ethos that we went by for this kind of scholarship. Like I said, the real inspiration was Saurabh, since he studied in Nottingham, and all of us are not necessarily from high scorers, but doing really well in life, right? So we believe that it's not necessary that the grades define who you are as a person. And personally, for me, it's there's a little bit of a hidden agenda as well, because I personally believe that people who do it takes a lot for somebody to do even a small thing for the society, right? If it's not, it might seem simple, somebody did something for their colony next door or for their neighbors during the pandemic, just got them food during the pandemic. It seems small in the scheme of things, but when you add these things up, that's stacks up as humanity, and that's what defines who you are eventually as a human being, to your family and to the people around you, right? And grades or no grades, we're not saying if you have great grades and you're still doing something for society, you can't apply. Of course you can, right? And it still makes sense. So that's the whole inspiration behind this, and I really feel that students should benefit from this.
Yeah, I believe this is to sum up that you should not hold on your dreams just because you somehow
Also,
did not got good grades in your final year.
also it adds on to the students who could not apply to any other scholarship, right? They now have a platform in which they can, and through our procedure, I think we'll also let them express what they've done for the society, which is also something that celebrates the student power.
Right, right. And as you mentioned that there are very small things which matters on humanitarian ground. And Mirza also mentioned that they organize counseling session for people who have FOMO of home, back at home wala part. That's really unique. Mirza, what is your take if I want to understand how NTU got into picture? Of course, it's very close to Saurabh's heart, and Saurabh has been an alumni at NTU. How NTU got into picture from, if we want to hear your side of the story as well.
Well, I mean, for us, it was just such a great opportunity when obviously we were approached by Saurabh and the team to kind of do a collaboration on a scholarship, because India is a very, very important country for Nottingham Trent University. We are fortunate enough that we get a big number of Indian students, and we're really lucky in that India has kind of taken to the university. We've become one of the most popular universities for Indian students in the UK over the years. So, and India for me is a home away from home. I mean, I calculated that actually since I've been doing this job over the 10 years I've been working at NTU, I've spent around 14 months in India in total. So, we have really close links to the country. And this was just a way of kind of saying thank you and giving something back to the country. A few years ago, we started doing little events, small community events. They started off in kind of us going into a government school, working with some kids, leaving some, donating some equipment for the kids in the school. Again, just as a way of kind of doing something which gave back. And as Aman said, however small it might be, it made a difference to at least a few kids. And so really this scholarship was kind of, this opportunity to do this joint scholarship was the next step from that, to be able to kind of give a reduction on both fees and accommodation fees to a student who has themselves improve their society, their community, in whatever way it might be that the eventually chosen winner of the scholarship, does that. That was such a great thing to be able to do. And it's not just about the scholarship for us. We are hoping to be able to do more with that person and their charity of choice, perhaps in the future, as a way of saying thank you, and just as a way of supporting India. And if I can just kind of summarize at the end, ultimately, universities are not just about education. They are not just about the theory and the skills you get in just your course. the 3-4 years, or even if it's just 1 year as a master's student that you spend at university, develop you as a person. They expand your horizons. They get you to understand different cultures, different people. They really kind of help you grow as a person. We as a university are trying to build global citizens of tomorrow. And what better way to do that than to reward some of the students who are kind of already giving a great example of what being a true citizen is.
True. You have actually repainted the actual picture of how a university is and how a university should be, instead of what we perceive that it is only a place where we go study to get degree and all that. Now we have talked.
And I'll tell you honestly, it was an instant thing when we discussed it for the first time. It was like two people, NTU and us, we were like, it's shared value, and it immediately struck, right? So
scholarship love at first sight.
So good things happen like this only in a snap of second.
Yes.
So now we have discussed that what scholarship is all about, and both of you have mentioned that it does not emphasize on the academic records. But does it mean that it does not at all acknowledge the academic records? What is the eligibility criteria? How can someone apply? For example, can anybody apply? Or what should be the minimum criteria to be, check that list? Maybe.
So the eligibility criteria is everybody can apply. Anybody who's looking to go and study at Nottingham Trent University can apply for the scholarship, irrespective of their grades, because grades are not a deciding factor. So it could be high grades or low grades, but everybody can apply. It's not as if the top, the 95% rankers are not going to apply, right? It's also about celebrating anybody who's done something with the society. So eligibility criteria is fairly simple. You need to be a citizen of India. You need to be applying for Nottingham Trent University, and you will have to book an accommodation through University Living. And there are a couple of steps where we want you to showcase what you've done for the society through our social media channels, which where you tag both Nottingham Trent University and University Living, and voila. And if all these things match up, you're qualified to be a part of this.
Great. So AB, I am going to apply once this call is done. Okay, Mirza, please do take care of my application whisper. Okay, now I'll come to you, Mirza, on this. It's a very interesting criteria, because you being an university, no matter what academic records does matter at a university. So what kind of message are you trying to convey with a social scholarship?
So this comes back to something I'm really passionate about. I've been trying to kind of talk about this for a few years now, and particularly with the return of GIR in the UK, which has made the UK education popular because students can stay back and work in the UK. I've been really trying to highlight the importance of students being well-rounded on their CVs. So one thing that students think is that if they get a 98% score in their degree, they're guaranteed a job. Now, don't get me wrong, it's likely to be a help, but it certainly doesn't guarantee a job, because ultimately students still have to go through interviews. They've got to be interesting in interviews. They've got to be able to talk about what they can do for the company in terms of the skills that they have. But also, most companies in the UK in particular will be looking for those soft skills, those transferable skills that you don't necessarily learn as part of your degree, like, being able to talk to people in a good manner, being able to, deal with different customers, clients, with different stakeholders, managing your time, working as part of a team. Those soft skills are the things you often learn actually through things like, social activities, through hobbies, through sports. And so that was one of the reasons, certainly, why we felt we wanted to focus on this. We as a university, we like to see well-rounded students, because we believe that they are more likely to go on to become successful anyway, because it really isn't as simple as just grades. And then also, we are a teaching university. We pride ourselves on being a teaching university. NTU is ranked as one of the top universities for teaching standards and quality. And so we know that even if a student is coming in with a slightly lower grade, obviously we have a cutoff, but even if a student is coming in with a slightly lower grade, we know our amazing teachers will be able to get them to the right standard. But actually, those soft skills are the things that we really like them to have already, because then they'll do well on the course, they'll work well with their classmates, and they'll make our campus a better place as well.
Great. I am definitely going AB. I hope there is no cap on the number that how many people can apply.
No, As many, more the merrier.
Okay, okay. So Mirza, count me in. Okay, so I'll come to you. Now, we'll talk about eligibility. We'll talk what is the main motive behind it, how the whole thing came into picture. How a student can apply? Is there a different form, or what are the parameters to be done in able to get this scholarship?
Yes. So there's a link on the website that we have created, which is currently residing on the University Living website. That link is also present on the NTU India page. So everybody can go to NTU India page and check out that link. And with that link, they can reach that page, see the steps that we just mentioned, and the eligibility criteria is mentioned again. And those steps to be followed, just fill up the form and fill up your N number of the application number that university has given you. And then you're done. So you're one step away from being eligible. And if you fulfill the other two steps post that, that's it's as simple as that. It's about reaching that page, reading it through, and just filling it.
Great, guys. Those links are also mentioned in below in the description box. You can go and check those out. Mirza, would you like to add something over here?
Sorry, I just wanted to add something. It's also a separate section on our website right now. So if you go to universityliving.com, there's a separate tab for scholarship. You can open that, or you go to the Nottingham Trent University India page, and you can get a link there and come back here.
Great.
Yeah, the only thing I would add is just that I think, obviously Aman and the team have created a fantastic page that really explains everything that we want to do with this scholarship. So, students should certainly refer to that page, make sure they complete the required information. So as Aman said, the important thing is that students have applied and have an offer for the university. Literally everybody with an offer, regardless of their grade, because that's not necessarily the focus, is eligible for this scholarship. And then just make sure you tag us in with your videos and your stories so that we can kind of get to see lots of different, hopefully really cool activities that have been going on around the country.
Great. So you mentioned videos. So what is the soul? I also got this inside information that it has to be a video application. Now this is really interesting and a very different kind of application. So what is the process? What would you suggest? AB?
Actually, I'd like Mirza answer this, but I'll just add to this because we had spoken about this before, Mirza and team, that you'd be surprised how many people actually anyway send videos or mention some of that extra activities that they're doing in the social sector in the applications that they get, right? The video needs to be simple. It just needs to be, it doesn't have to be like a amazingly edited video. The quality of the video don't matter to us. It's just what you've done. If you're able to articulate that for us, that's all we're looking for. And I'm sure while viewing some of these videos, maybe we'll get a lump in our throat at some point, and that kind of works for the audience. Just a little tip.
Right.
Yeah. I think if I can just add, I think it's to do with the fact that obviously our standard scholarship application form, as with most universities, is a written form. And that's not necessarily the best approach for all students for a start. So this gives them something different. But it's also the chance for students to either kind of, talk with passion about the things they've done, or to, video themselves, I don't know, working with animals or whatever it is that they are doing. Obviously, make sure you get permission from whatever you're involved in, please, students. But it's just a chance for us to kind of do it in a different way that will really kind of help students highlight some of the things that they are doing. And exactly as Aman said, please don't over edit the videos. In fact, we want them to be honest. We want them to be, just simple and just based on the content, not the editing. If anything, the more over editing you do, the less likely it's going to look genuine and real as to what, the activity you've done in your kind of social work.
Right.
You can even use, students are free to use pictures, like Mirza said, of them doing certain kind of work for the society. If they have pictures, they can put them into a video collage and use that during their application. And the editing, of course, doesn't matter at all.
Right. I know that you guys have already mentioned that there are guidelines. Is there a time limit to the video?
Yes, it has to be under 1 minute so that it can be posted as an Instagram post. So what we'll encourage students to do is, which we mentioned on the website, but it's the fact that please post it and do not put it in the stories, because stories of course last only 24 hours, right? So give us an opportunity for us to actually see the videos and then collect that. So under 60 seconds, we should be fine.
So it's actually not just you're giving a scholarship, you're also giving them an opportunity to become an influencer.
Express themselves, yes.
An influencer, yeah.
Actually, getting them an opportunity to express themselves is exactly the values, shared values of NTU and university living. So
right.
I think you know, in a world where unfortunately there is a lot of very sad, very horrible things that are going on across the world. It would be nice to be reminded that actually majority of people are really good and they want to help each other and, you know, help their communities. So, you know, we're trying to spread a bit of joy.
Right, of course. And I'm sure that many students will be very much interested. Of course, the important part is it, as they have already mentioned, you have to tag both the channels. Correct, AB? Both the handles?
Yes, both the handles are also given on the link.
Yeah,
so feel free. And as soon as you apply, we'll again send an email to you with the details of what you need to do next. So the next steps are also again mentioned in the email with the handles available. All right.
Right. So now, is there a deadline for this application, or is it for which year term? Mirza, would you like to take it?
Yeah, I'm happy to answer that. Yeah, so the deadline is the end of May. So it's the 31st of May. I had to check how many days May had. It's the 31st of May. And we are hoping to then be able to kind of inform the successful student within kind of 2 weeks of that. So around the 14th of June, essentially, we're aiming for. Obviously, we'd have to have a bit of time for the panel to meet and discuss, because again, we are hoping to have lots of good entries. So yeah, please don't be shy to put your entry in.
Yes, and it's primarily for the September intake.
Yeah. I have one more question. Mirza, is there a specific courses which for which we can apply through this scholarship, or it's open to all the courses?
So it's open to all of our full-time bachelor's and master's programs. So essentially, as long as you're one of our standard full-time bachelor's and masters, which 99.99% of students are, then yes, you're certainly eligible to apply for it.
Okay, great. With this question, we're almost actually near to our closing time. I would like you to share a few tips. If you would have been an applicant, what tips you're going to share? How you're going to apply? This is a very tricky question. You can take your time. But yes, guys, don't miss this last part, okay? They're going to give you the insights.
You want me to go first? I mean, that's a tricky question. You should have told me you were going to ask this. So really, for me, I mean, I know whenever it is that we, you know, obviously I'll be a part of the panel, and so when we come to deciding our favorites, certainly one of the things that I'll be looking for is that kind of honesty within it. You know, I really want to see somebody just kind of focusing on what they have done, not trying to dress it up in, you know, pretty editing or flowery language, or, you know, trying to make it something it doesn't need to be. This is just about what is it that you have done. Show us the kind of, you know, the passion that you have for this project, or, you know, the activity or whatever it was. And just kind of, you know, leave us to decide whether that's what we're looking for. The main thing that students need to remember is that just because you might not be selected for this scholarship doesn't mean that what you're doing isn't incredible. So just, you know, just focus on what it is that you have done. Try and put it across in a 1-minute video, or, you know, a collage of pictures or whatever it might be, and just kind of be proud of the fact that you've done this, because ultimately there are no unsuccessful students in this. This is not a scholarship that has any unsuccessful students. Every single student that has a story to tell about the social work that they have done is already an incredible person and a successful student in their own right.
Right. You actually mentioned it really well, that the whole idea of having this scholarship is that you're not judged on academic or some other manner. So it's only to know how you are doing, adding value to the word. AB, now your turn. I know it's a surprise take, but yeah, can't help it.
I think more or less what Mirza said, authenticity is key. Please don't try and dress it up. And please don't worry that if you don't have any editing skills, please don't worry what lens of your mobile phone or camera quality that you have. It doesn't matter. The best stories today are told which come directly from the heart, and that shows your passion. Because we're not looking for any specific level of social work. Every small to every large thing matters. because every small thing leads up to every large thing, right? So sometimes your passion itself, when that comes through, it's even more important than you trying to show the impact of your activity, right? So I think what Mirza said was perfect, and you guys should stick to that, and that's what we're all looking for. Not just in this scholarship, I think in general, that's what we'll all be looking for, and we'll be doing this year on year. So this is not something we're doing for the first time. We'll do this year on year and make sure that this keeps becoming bigger and better. And like Mirza said, the culmination of this in coming years needs to be their work can then be celebrated and taken forward because of this activity that we're doing, right? And with people with that sort of passion and vision, and sometimes just selflessness comes across because you're being authentic, and that's essentially what the video needs to convey.
Right, and that's why the trending hashtag is scholarship with a soul, right?
Yes. So scholarship with a soul is what we want to call it, out here. But I think it really is. I mean, we're just it's our way of celebrating the great and good souls out here who, like Mirza said, are bringing joy to the world. So we'd like to see a little joy.
Right. Great. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you, Mirza. Thank you, Aman. So, guys, you've already got to know what the information is about. All the links are mentioned below in the description. Don't miss out. Share it among your network. You might know someone who's looking for something like that, and you can make their dreams come true. Thank you so much for joining, guys. And keep watching our space for more information. Keep watching our UL TV channel for next Friday. Thank you, AB. Thank you, Mirza.
Thank you very much.
Thanks,
See you
guys.
soon.